Okay, we're on the record. Let's go ahead and call the Margaret Lecomte case. I'll put my video on. We've got Mr. Altenberg, who's joining for the city by Zoom video. We have Ms. Lecomte here in the courtroom. Ms. Lecomte, there's a person to your right. Who's this individual that's seated next to you?
She is a good friend and my power of attorney. She is not a lawyer, but she's someone that I'd like to request.
All right, I got a problem here. I don't know what's going on. I'm getting back feedback, and I don't know why.
That be able to advise me if I forget some of the things that I need to say.
Okay, and then let me just be really clear that because she's not an attorney, you won't be allowed to comment during the hearings.
I think
we have to follow the rules that dictate what lawyers can do and what non-lawyers can and cannot do. I'll certainly allow you if you're finishing up comments and you want to pause for a moment and then turn to the individual and ask her if you've forgotten anything. I think that's going to be permissible. All right. So we've got Mr. Altenberg here who's present. I asked to have this hearing because I was informed by Fernanda Bittencourt, our probation officer, that there had been some challenges that Ms. Lecomte had faced surrounding compliance with the court's sentencing order, mostly in connection with the restraining order that she sought, a temporary restraining order that was put in place. And then I understand, just heard earlier today, that perhaps a permanent restraining order, the restraining order was made permanent.
Yes, Your Honor, that was made permanent last Friday.
Okay. And so the purpose of this meeting here today is to try to find out from my perspective where things stand as far as you.
It's my understanding this restraining order is against our old friend, Mr. Lau. Oh, yes. She already threw him under the bus at the last hearing, and I told him to run like hell. I told him. But does Lau listen to me? No, he doesn't listen to me.
Moving towards compliance. I had given you one extension till September 3rd to comply. That was a week extension. And then you filed shortly before that September 3rd compliance date, the indication that you didn't believe you were going to be able to comply by September 3rd. And so in my most recent order, I said I was going to ask, so we were going to hold off on ordering compliance until the end of this hearing today. So I am going to try to set a deadline for compliance, but I want to give you a chance to tell me where things stand with respect to your ability to remove property. As I understand it, most of the property from your perspective belongs to Mr. Lau, but if you can tell me what plans you have made at this point to move that property.
Thank you, Your Honor. Let me just tell you the steps that I have taken. Most important, I engaged Good Riddance Dumpsters about a month ago to undertake removal of the trash. On August 25th at 8 in the morning, that the owner arrived at my house per our agreement. And to begin, Mike Lau was present. He got very angry and he would not let them start and forbade them. I wasn't home. I was in civil court at 8 in the morning getting the temporary protection order, which was granted. But that forbade me or Mike from removing anything from the property during its duration. Importantly, Good Riddance Dumpsters is just awaiting my go-ahead to begin. And I have confirmed that in a text message from them this morning. I've not lived in my house since that morning. Meanwhile, and these are some of the steps I've taken, I found food banks willing to pick up all the frozen meat and other boxes of food from the 4 freezers in the backyard. If those food banks don't want the freezers, then the hauling company will remove them. And then all of the other items from the backyard, front and side yard, and the driveway. This includes large wood piles, tires, barrels, assorted car parts and machinery, 7 bicycles, and things I can't even identify. The 5 trucks in the driveway will be removed sometime this week by code enforcement, according to a notice I received effectively today.
Ma'am, are you a
The
whore?
third party hasn't already retrieved them from Mike first. Another is my regular yard maintenance will mow the backyard and remove the weeds as soon as the junk is cleared sufficiently for them to get their equipment into the backyard and do so. They've been maintaining the front and the side yards as usual.
Nailed
I've
it.
tried to seek legal help on this to make things move more quickly. And I finally got a 15-minute appointment through SPAN, but that lawyer couldn't help me with this particular case. I've tried to contact
Or any other.
crisis intervention.
Because you're annoying.
team, but besides
And you don't have
persistent
money.
efforts, I haven't been able to talk to anybody. Maybe it was a Labor Day holiday and the weekend that made it hard, but although I've left messages,
Attorney
I've
can
gotten
deal with the first
callbacks.
part.
Occasionally, I have missed them.
The second part's not
Temporary
negotiable.
protective order was made permanent forever on September 5th in Judge Brodsky's court. But I haven't felt safe to spend the night at my house. And since then, the 25th, I've been staying with friends. I have no idea where Mike is, but I am wary of his pattern of denial and revenge seeking when thwarted or crossed. And that is why I request an extension set so that I can implement the steps I've just outlined and basically restore my property to what it was like about 3 years ago before I had the injuries and things began to fall apart because Mike simply took advantage of that and moved stuff in when I was unable even to check the backyard to see what was out there. I want assurance that I can remove Mike's property now without fear of his retaliation
So Mike was checking your backyard, huh?
and without committing an act of contempt of court. And I hope the court will see fit to note that my efforts to comply have been.
Her whole defense till now was it's Lau's fault. Now she got a restraining order against him. She's got to she's got to come up with a new scapegoat.
Ongoing and persistent and persistently thwarted. I am deeply committed to cleaning this up, not just because of the court order, or because I am facing jail time at all, but because I want to be able to live in my house and enjoy my yard, and I want my neighbors to stop being distressed, so that I can live there again. And therefore, excuse me, I beg that I get a little time to do that, as long as it takes the hauling company to remove things. There is so much stuff there, I can't give a good estimate, but I suspect it will take at least a week to 10 days, barring discovering other unpleasant surprises. So I guess I thank you, Your Honor, for listening to me and for giving me these many opportunities.
Okay. So you said you confirmed by text with Good Riddance that they were still able to do this?
Yes, I have been in contact with them and kept them informed of the court proceedings and the impediments that I had. And Nathan, the owner, has responded very, very promptly and said, we're just waiting to see when we can start. And as I said, he actually showed up on August 25th before a lot of this transpired and was ready to begin. And that is when there was a big scene with Mike in the backyard over his efforts to at least survey what was out there and begin.
Okay. So you didn't set a date then for Good Riddance to start?
Well, as soon as I contacted Nathan yesterday, and I told him that I would let him know today what the outcome of this hearing was.
Lau was just probing the backyard that whole
And I would
time.
let him know then exactly when he could begin. and I received confirmation from him that that's okay, we understand, just let me know.
Okay, so if you were to contact him, let's say during the day tomorrow, you could get something scheduled to get started.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then it may take.
In fact, Nathan said, contact me and we'll set up a plan.
Okay. Mr. Altenberg, I'll give you a chance to weigh in. What I'm hearing from Ms. LeCompte is a request to give her an additional extension of time. She didn't ask for any specific amount of time, but I'm considering extending the compliance date by 2 weeks from today's date, which would be the 22nd of September. I haven't made that an order of the court, but I wanted to give you a chance to hear what I'm thinking. You can weigh in, and then I can also hear from Ms. LeCompte after you've weighed in.
Yes, Your Honor. I just have a couple of questions, if I may, to ask Ms. LeCompte, if that's possible, just to get a better understanding of her plans. Is that okay, Your Honor?
Well, because I'm more comfortable with the court asking her questions than you, because she hasn't taken the stand as a witness.
Understand, Your Honor. That's
why don't
okay
you tell me what your issues are, and then I will pose those as questions. But why don't you tell me what your concerns are, and then I can try to address them with Ms. LeCompte.
Of course, Your Honor. Ms. LeCompte did notice or did mention that code enforcement is intending on removing the vehicles on the property. I just wanted to make sure whether or not that included all the vehicles, including vehicles that are parked alongside the property, what aspect code enforcement is intending on using, because I was not informed that code enforcement is intending on removing this at this time. It also sounds like Ms. LeCompte is trying to work with a plethora of different entities right now. One of which being the Good Riddance entity, another one being the food bank, another one being code enforcement, and then also mentioned that there may be underlying other items that may require even more time. I just want to know that, want to make sure that it sounds like there's so many moving parts here. I'm unsure if any amount of time is appropriate based off of Ms. LeCompte's current plan, because trying to coordinate all this at once and trying to come into compliance within the time frame, I do believe is difficult. And obviously, Your Honor, at this point, it has been to approve of a 2-week extension would give her a total of almost 2 months of time since the original hearing date on the, I believe it was the 6th of August to the 22nd of September. Originally, it was set for 3 weeks for compliance, Your Honor. And if you were to grant this extension again, it would come at this point almost to be around, I think, 7 weeks, almost the 2-month period. So we do have issues with that as well, because obviously, Your Honor, as we've noted before, the desire of the community is to have this come into compliance as soon as possible. And further continuances, despite there being an aspect, or at least a declaration that there is a plan ongoing, we are worried about the possibility.
Judge, I don't know how to say this, but you kind of been a pussy about this.
Of maybe a further continuance being requested in a 1.5 week time, and then having this.
That's what he's trying to say.
Okay. So I have all of that. So, and I'll just allow you, Ms. LeCompte, to respond to, first of all, to my thought, that I'm inclined to grant 2 additional weeks to come into compliance, but also to if you respond, if you choose to the comments that were made by Mr. Altenberg. So go ahead.
With regard to the 2 weeks, Your Honor, I personally think that would be sufficient if Good Riddance it has enough time and the equipment to do that. Having not developed a plan with them, I can't really say, although I think it's a sufficiently large company that they can handle it. But again, I just don't have the information about that. The second issue, and this is regard to some of the things Mr. Altenberg said, I am not working with multiple entities. My primary entity is the hauling company, and the others have been, I would prefer not to throw away a lot of frozen meat if a food bank can take it. So that happens to be an ancillary desire to do some good. And if that is not acceptable. I will simply tell Good Riddance, who has already agreed to take away the freezers in which those food items are, and dispose of them. Secondly, I don't remember any other entities that Mr. Altenberg mentioned, other than possibly the food bank and my mention of the 7 bicycles. But basically, the person's going to handle everything is Good Riddance, so there isn't anybody else involved. As to the delays, those were primarily caused not through my efforts, but through my partner, who was making my life miserable and threatening me if I touched anything of his items. And
he was making our life miserable as well. But you know what? So are you. This is what I can't deal with her. She's going to keep, like, Lau is hard to deal with and annoying as hell, but she is no better. And she continues to try to blame him.
That is why I sought the protective order, because I became afraid. And he is now permanently barred from my property and from any association with me. And he is gone. So that barrier is gone. And I am fully prepared to start tonight to inform Good Riddance that they may begin as soon as they have a cleared schedule to do that. I have no belief that they don't have a space for me. And I would like to have a plan to proceed before I can tell the court exactly how long they estimate it would take.
Okay. All right. I will point out for the record that Ms. LeCompte, since my last day in court with her, has been in good communication with our probation officer, explaining to her on a fairly regular basis what was transpiring between her and Mr. Lau. And she has taken steps to come into compliance. And although the case that we had previously and then this case have both dragged on for a long period of time, I do believe that the major impediment to success for Ms. LeCompte is now removed. And so I'm going to give you 2 weeks from today's date to come into compliance.
Thank you, Your Honor.
In addition, what I will expect for you to do, Ms. LeCompte, is by Wednesday at 4 p.m. of this week, I want you to notify Ms. Bittencourt, our probation officer, by email of the information that you have from Good Riddance as to the start date and when they can complete the start and finish date of removing everything from your premises. How you accomplish getting everything off the premises is up to you. So if you choose to try to navigate so that you can give away the meat and then get the other objects that are storing the meat off the property, I'll leave that to you. But you have to understand that that can't be something that stops you. So if you can't get someone to come over in the next several days and in a way that it works for Good Riddance so that they can remove those freezers, then you're going to have Good Riddance take the meat and do with it what they need to do. Because it's more important at this point for you to come into compliance than it is for you to do this other good thing, which is right. Wasting good meat is a terrible thing to have to do, but you're choosing between two evils at this point, as opposed to trying to make the world work and all things work at the same time.
I need to clip
Make sure that you come into compliance. And if Good Riddance, you call them tonight. And
Khan saying wasting good meat is a terrible thing to do. I didn't have that on my bingo card, but I absolutely love it. I really do. It's fantastic.
they say, sorry, we can't start until 10 days from now, you better find another company. That's what you need to do, is find a company that can do it and can get it done in the next 2 weeks.
I understand that fully, Your Honor, and I'm prepared to do that.
Okay. I believe you are. So I believed when you left the last hearing that you had, that perhaps the light bulb that was going on and had gone on, that you cannot control Mr. Lau, and you're going to need to do this on your own and not have his help in doing it. And I think that's why you now have a restraining orders, because you took those steps, despite what his intentions might have been. You took those steps, and that put you at odds with him. And unfortunately, your longstanding relationship is now one that's subject to a restraining order and a domestic violence incident that I was not party to. But it concerns me that you're in this situation. I do believe you're in a position now where you can move forward. So I want you to take every step that you possibly can to make sure that you are in compliance. We won't have a hearing that date. That will be the date that someone from the code enforcement goes by the property to determine if you are in compliance. And then they will notify the prosecution and our probation officer. And then if you are in compliance, there won't be any action that I take. If you are not in compliance, then there'll be a show cause order that will be issued, and you'll have to come and explain why you're not in compliance. And I think I told you before, it won't be, all right, the 22nd of September comes along, we issue the show cause order, and then I'm looking at what happened on September 29th or 30th. It won't be what happens after that. It's going to be what happens between now and that date. Does that make sense to you?
I fully understand that, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Can you simply tell me the 2 weeks from
today?
What date is that?
That's September 22nd at 4 p.m. You need to be in compliance. And I'll do a short order to that effect, extending the deadline for compliance. So you'll get emailed that order.
Please do send me email if you don't mind.
Yeah, you'll get that.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor, and I thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm glad you have some support around you, and sorry that it's turned out this way for you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. That'll be the end of the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for appearing, Mr. Altenberg. We'll go off the record.
Of course, Your Honor, out of curiosity, would you like us to reach out to code enforcement at this time? Because it is my understanding they've been reaching out, or they've been notifying us, about possible, worries about the situation. We just want to make sure that we're on the same page with them, so they're not coming to us going, "Hey, we have another citation during this time frame."
Yeah, well, I'll be doing that order when I leave the bench here today. I have a meeting that starts. It's already started, but before the end of the day, you'll get an order, and then you can share that with code enforcement. And I would just encourage you to tell them, hey, notify us and notify probation of whatever you observe on the 22nd.
Excuse me, Your
Thank you.
Honor. May I just simply say that there are no trucks parked outside there are 5 trucks in my driveway, but there are no trucks parked around my property.
Okay. Thank
Where's
you.
the BBT?
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. You all take care. Thank you, Mr. Altenberg. And we will go off the record.
Oh no. Oh no. The bloom is off the rose. I thought those kids were going to make it. She's got a restraining order on Lau. He probably just stomped away and took his BBT with him. There's some speculation that he might be in one of those freezers. There are several freezers involved. They like to keep the freezers outside. Lau and old Stinky backyard. It was a tradition of theirs. This is all Alyssa's fault from the beginning. I think that I just did. I think it's number 18 or 19. I mean, we just hours and hours of stream on this. If you're just getting in now, because we might have some new people because I put it over. If you're getting in now, just go ahead. It's the greatest case of all time. That's what I titled it because Hoarders was taken. I'm going to be using that clip, and I'm going to be laughing like a 13-year-old every time I do. I'm just warning you now. It could be here. It could be on the other channel. It's going to happen. Brace yourselves. Get your pearls ready. Speaking of Clay Township, I heard that they're having a meeting too. Clay Township is my other wild goose chase, where I just got sucked into the vortex. This was the original Clay Township. Now I can't get enough. I can't get enough of Jerry and Paul over there and their absolute disdain for the rest of the community. Clay Township. I don't know. You got to see it to believe it. You got to see it to believe it. There's a playlist for that too called local government or something like that. It's all good stuff. Thank y'all for coming out. I will see you soon.